I'm Linda Hughes. I'm the Secretary Treasurer, and I have been for 4 years. The rest of the Chamber Directorship is Louise Mugar, Lauren Nielsen, Tamara Hansen, Wayne Lyle. And Elliot Smith, newly appointed Elliot Smith. Thank you, Elliot. I'm my apologies. I'm not a very good public speaker. So, behind the scenes, we also have Ruth Lauman, who manages our website and all of our social media presence, and I just want to take a moment to thank her for that. And hopefully, all of you get an opportunity to check out our website and start following our social media presence, because that's where we're going to start celebrating all of our members and all of the events that you're holding and bringing to the community. So, as a collective, we can all rise and shine, let's all vote, as it were. So, my job here today is to basically summarize what the Chamber has done in 2024. And in 2024, we have supported our membership and this community by one of the things we've done is keeping open communications with local, state, and federal government offices, particularly about our concerns and hopes for the economic recovery of Point Roberts in a post-COVID era. That has been the greatest challenge, and we've had to work really hard to keep those lines of communication open with various levels of government so they understood what we're facing, because they cannot imagine it from a lot of their positions. Some of the other important topics we addressed with these officials in our letters and meetings have included our concerns with Homeland Security and the Border Patrol's treatment of visitors to the point, the impact of the proposed CDC regulations regarding visiting pets, the Whatcom County Comprehensive Plan, the downed and abandoned power and cable lines all over the point, potential preparation of Roosevelt Way to grant access in the event of emergency to exit Point Roberts, and homeowners' rights to work on their property. These are all topics that we've been addressing with all levels of government this year. One of our goals for 2025 is to lobby Whatcom County Parks for long overdue attention to the Boundary Bay and beach area for parking, public restrooms, and trash removal. So that's on our list of things to work on this year, next year. We have also maintained extensive relationships with outside media for the same purpose, economic recovery being the top priority. We have fielded numerous inquiries from potential visitors to Point Roberts via communication through our very informative website. Again, I encourage you to visit it. It's a really great website. Thank you again, Ruth, for all the work you've put into that. Locally, our Chamber has financially provided marketing and advertising for local events and local businesses. And in a few moments, Louise is going to give an overview of all the marketing efforts that we have undertaken and hope to undertake in the future. We are also open to supporting local businesses, and we'd love to hear from you how we can better do that. For instance, this year, Cora's Corner, our members had to cancel an event for lack of volunteers. And that's something that, as members, if we are all working as a collective, we can, back to the old rising tide of all, we can all work together. If we had better communication and better collectiveness, we would have been able to step in, help, at least get the word out, and save that really great event this summer that we didn't get to have this year. And so that's just one example. If your local business is looking for support, reach out to your Chamber of Commerce members. And ask us for what you need, and we'll see what we can do. We also like to sponsor Chamber member social events, much like this one, but not so formal. We're hoping to mingle about in your place of business and get to know each other. Just talk about what's new and how we're working to overcome the economic depressions we've all been suffering, and working together to celebrate your successes and your upcoming successes. And if we all had more opportunities like this to get together and just kind of we might be able to share some ideas, celebrate your success, and be a collective chamber. So I hope all of you take that to heart and let us know what you can do. we can do, all of us together can do. We'd like to network with your business and your potential customers. We also have, it's the end of the year, so it is our membership drive time of year. I do have membership forms on one of the tables just outside of the other half of the building. If you haven't yet renewed your 2025 or 2025 membership, tonight's a good time to take one of those membership forms away, fill it out, send us a check. We'll set you up. There's benefits of that, or you'll be on the Chamber of Commerce website. We're going to feature local businesses on our social media platforms. We're going to be able to work more closely with you to support your business and celebrate some of the events and things that you're working on. And lastly, my thing to talk about is the Chamber of Commerce is going to sponsor our Holiday Decorations Challenge. This is going to include everyone in Point Roberts. This is not only to our members, but to everyone. For home decorators, there will be cash prizes. Modest, but we're starting. The first prize is $100, $75 for second, $50 for third. The businesses, there's only going to be one winner. The prize for the best decorated business will be a 4-page ad for your business in the All-Point Bulletin, paid for by the Chamber. Special mention of your business on all our social media platforms, and a 2025 membership paid for at no cost to you. So to enter, please decorate your home with holiday lighting and submit a photograph to us by email at info@robertschamberofcommerce.com, and then our team will be driving around to view submissions in person, and then we will review and decide at our regular chamber meeting in January, and winners will be announced in the All-Point Bulletin on our website and on all of our social media platforms. Remember all the details I gave you about that contest? Those details will be in the next issue of the All-Point Bulletin. And now it is my great pleasure to bring up Lisa Jordan, who has some very exciting news about our marketing and advertising efforts on your behalf. Right.
Okay. So I know I think many of you are here tonight to learn about the Point Roberts Economic Development Strategy. But I want you to know some of the stuff that we've been doing, the Chamber's been doing all year to help promote economic development and to support our local businesses. So the main thing for us is that we've been fortunate to be working with Whatcom County Tourism, and we've received since 2022 funds to promote Point Roberts, and they're reimbursable. So they don't hand out money, but if you've done they're doing marketing, they can reimburse our website, we can help with reimburse the expenses for that. The thing about their marketing is very specific. It has to be to tourism, for inviting people from 50 miles or more away. Now that can be really tough for most communities, but the exception in their ruling is that it can also include a border no matter how close you are. So actually we can market in the Delta Optimist, we invite people to come down for events, we dine at our restaurants, shop at our stores, visit the Rubber Duck Museum, and hopefully stay. We encourage people to stay overnight. While we don't have a hotel, we do have many Airbnbs. And this Whatcom County Lodging Tax Funds, and it gives grants, but the funds are generated by hotels and short-term rentals. So they're getting that back, but the whole point is for the festivals and the chambers of commerce and unincorporated areas to be promoting people to come and stay. So this past year, I'm going to just show you some of the examples. We've been in the Delta Optimist for July 4th events and promoting the Strings and Things festivals. And then what we do is, no matter what the event is, which is like in the top part of the ad, then we go to say, listen, explore Point Roberts, USA. Come and eat at Kingston's Reef Tavern, at the Pier Restaurant, at Saltwater, and check out the Marketplace Deli. And then visit the Rubber Duck Museum at Corus Corner. Go to the Point Roberts History Center, walk the trails at Living Point Marine Park and Lake House Marine Park and spend the night. So that's been our big campaign, and we're going to continue to do that into 2025. So it's featuring events that invite, the events that really want Canadians to come down. That's the whole point. And then our part is to support the local businesses as they do to go to use them. We did have an opportunity that's helpful with the Waterside publication, because that is on the ferries in BC and Washington State. And we were able to get an ad for the Visit Point Roberts USA. And I just want to show the sample, and you want to take a look later, because it did win first place in Washington State for the newspapers. It won first place for Love Where You Live. And that is Love Where You Are. That's Point Roberts. So let's see. We have this campaign will continue in 2025. So I do encourage, if there are festivals or events that you're working on, please come to us, because we'd be happy to help support that. And then, the thing I actually want to mention, because last year we had Mark Swenson from the Point Roberts Historical Society as our guest speaker. And he was really good about emphasizing how important our history is, and really that is an attraction. People love to come in here and learn. Hey, even Gene Kaniski, learning about him, remembering what the Breakers was like, and it's nice to see David. But I think people love that. Even last week I was in here and I walked out and someone said, "Yeah, over there, that's the Breakers. That's where that was." So it's we really do make sure that we promote the History Center. And it's funny, last weekend, I was giving a tour to a writer from Northwest Travel and Light, and we met at the History Center, and I know she spent time at the Rubber Duck Museum. And then this weekend, I've got another one coming up from Seattle. I think she'll probably be with you this weekend as well, but I'm going to meet her at the History Center. So that was a really good thing that Mark did. It was just good to remember that is really important for all of us to remember about our history. So I think that's about it, and I do hope that we're working with Vancouver Magazine to get them to come in the spring, hopefully for the opening of the golf course. That would be lovely. Yeah. Okay, so that's my report. Is Wayne? Okay. Wayne Lyle, our president. Woo! I guess he's supposed to.
Hello. I'm guilty of being elected by our closed membership here, which I apologize for, but very proud to be part of the Point Roberts Chamber of Commerce, and look forward to being around for a while. We are, as you probably are aware, by the way, before I go on to that, we're very, very lucky to have Louise as a director, along with everyone else, of course. Very talented at advertising, and even better at reaching out to the right people that are word out very economically. And she's been the driving force about getting all of our grants approved, and thousands of dollars that come in that will repay the money that we spend. So, as an example, the awards that she just won, and she has access to these things because she owns them, which is even better, right? So some of the stuff she does for free, which is another big bonus for us, and other stuff we obviously have an obligation to support you back as well. We have we don't have, but there's an upcoming, as you know, economic strategy for Point Roberts that we had nothing to do with getting it going, but we want to take a very active role in making sure that we as a group are heard and have some good ideas and meet with the group that's going to lead this strategy. And so I would like to encourage all of you or any of you to contact us or myself, email. If you want to have a meeting, let's get together. We have some ideas here on what we think will help with the economic study, but we're only 5 people. We want to hear from everyone in this room or other people that you talk to. It's really important to get as many great ideas on the table that can help this great community. And the 5 of us are up here because we love this community. And everyone's in this room for the same reason. You know, we have challenges here, being a small town, kind of a long ways away from, you know, the county seat. So we need to make sure our voice is heard. And we want to make sure that whatever comes from this strategy gets implemented. Not like the one a couple decades ago where it just sat around and, oh, those are great ideas and nothing happened. So let's try to come up with the ideas and make sure that the group that is running this understands our concerns and gets them in a format that we can actually move forward and get them implemented. A couple, you know, some things come to mind are some of the zoning around town. I happen to be a realtor. I just, you know, none of the zoning matches what we actually have here. So it'd be nice to actually get zoning that matches what our community is. And obviously infrastructure. There's so many great spots around here we can't do anything with because of the drainage system. And it's a pretty simple fix, but it takes money. And as you all know, there's just a ton of tax dollars going out the door from this community. And we only get a small percentage back. So we want to see a larger amount come back, infrastructure, support us. And within that context, you know, maybe there's some zoning things we can do in terms of commercial, small town commercial, and even resort commercial. You know, it's pretty regimented. We're out here, but we're unique. You know, I look at us as almost like a resort in itself, a quiet one, nothing boisterous, but I'd like to see some zoning changes that would encourage people to come in and put up cool buildings, cool commercial spots, some residential parts with that, with shorter places for people to live and work. So we can combine some commercial development along with some residential at the same time, have some incentives in place that might take looking at 2072 and making some tweaks, but all in a positive manner. So Elliot is our newest board member, and we snagged him, I guess. He happens to be from the Port of Bellingham, and who is, I guess, the driving force behind our economic strategy coming up. And Elliot had nothing to do with this. The lady that drove it has left the Port of Bellingham recently, but Elliot has been kind enough to bring us an update as to a number of the things on that, let's call it a study. So Elliot, you want to tell us all about it, or what you know?
Thank you. I was going to run into an election scandal there this evening. Thought we were done with that. My wife Cara and I moved here only about 4 years ago. So I feel like after about 5 more years, we'll feel like we're not new anymore. But we've been trying to find ways we can participate more in the community. I'm actually here today and involved with the Chamber of Commerce now because my employer, the Port of Bellingham, as we went through our economic development strategy for the county overall, we suddenly realized we were on every single Chamber of Commerce in the county except this one. Mm-hmm. And somehow I got volunteered. I don't know how they thought. As one of the earlier speakers mentioned this evening, there is a lot that needs to be done here. There were economic development studies a number of years ago, but they were really studies. For one reason or another, over time, some of those things weren't implemented or weren't thought through all the way. And we started to explore what we could do for economic development here in Point Roberts. My colleague Gina Stark and I came to a Point Roberts Community Advisory Committee meeting, I think roughly 6 or 7 months ago. I think we spent the first 40 minutes or so getting educated about the study from 20 years ago. And it was pretty clear something new was needed, something that focused forward, and something that focused on implementation in the future. Just by coincidence, at that time, the Department of Commerce had current grants available for economic development studies, and that was just the right time. We started hearing from people here at the Chamber, and we started hearing from the other organizations on the point that this was really badly needed. So, great opportunity. My colleague Gina, who recently left the Port of Bellingham, she, for her own personal reasons, loved working with her on this. She did a fantastic job. I'll come to the application in just a moment. So we had a clever plan. I would sit on the Chamber of Commerce and try to represent the port here. I would stay completely out of the selection of what contractor actually implemented the strategy. And that, yeah, to avoid conflict of interest and make sure it was cleanly executed. But that was a great plan until Gina decided to retire, so here I am again. Just a brief word about the agency that's helping to execute that. That's the Port of Bellingham. Rob Fix is our executive director. He's been looking for ways that we could participate here in Point Roberts to get things moving a little bit. I think about 3.5 years ago or so, I came to another general meeting here, and we were talking about the possibilities for the marina. Unfortunately, the marina does not appear to be for sale. So that seemed like the best way for us to come in for economic development, for infrastructural improvements, and yeah, unfortunately, that's proven to not be possible so far. It's still an important driver here in Point Roberts. So we were looking for another way to get the port involved here. We also had a new economic development director who previously worked for the county. That's Tyler Schroeder. Tyler Schroeder would be giving this address this evening, talking about this study. Unfortunately, he's decided to go and play in Phoenix for a long weekend, so that was previously scheduled with his family, which is higher power than me, I'm afraid. So here we are. Just want to talk a little bit about this grant and the selection process. First of all, we got 3 quite good applications. Those have been ranked in a scoring matrix that really keys into what we were asking in the grant. That is a public document. You could, if you wished, issue and you know how to do it, issue a public information request, or you could just ask me to edit it. Save some paperwork. All 3 of the proposals are available for people to examine, and we know there was a local proposal, and there were a couple from organizations outside of Point Roberts. But we were really looking at who has the connectivity to figure out when we've decided where we want to go and what we should prioritize, who can key us into the grants, the resources with the state, the resources with the county, and the economic development from the Department of Commerce. So how can we really move to a strategy where we can start to, at a reasonable pace, start to execute some of these items. So at the Ports Commission meeting last week on November 5th, I believe, that was awarded to Maul Foster and Alongi. Maul Foster has a good background in the state and in the region. They also have an office now in Bellingham, so they have a local presence. And I think when everyone has a look at their proposal and their schedule, I think you'll see where we had a tough choice. They were probably best advantage to put us in a good place. It's not an enormous contract. I believe it's $1 under the legal limit to issue a contract. No, I'm kidding. I gotta have some fun here. There's a segment that comes from the Port of Bellingham in cash to fund the study. There's about $72,000 off the top of my head additional from the Department of Commerce grant. And then there will be the time of port staff. So I think when we do the in-person community meetings, there are 3 of them set up to gather information from this body, from the general citizenry in Point Roberts, from the Point Roberts Taxpayers Association and Community Advisory Committee, from the fire department, business owners, everyone we can talk to. So those 3 meetings will be conducted here. I think you'll see Tyler Schroeder come to many of those. I will certainly try to come to all of them. I can't complain about the commute to here. So, yeah, so that the schedule for developing this has the baseline studies looking at infrastructure, looking at zoning, land use, business development, workforce development, ability to get contractors and contractor staff and materials in and out of the port, or the point, sorry. That baseline development, the first community meetings, the research on infrastructure and available dollars and what will have the most economic impact for the community. That will happen between now and next May. I believe between May and September, the final report will be prepared. And then about 10 or 11 months from now, we're able to then issue that report and start working towards the objectives we've laid out here. The idea is that it be extremely pragmatic. If we have things that are going to take 5 or 10 years to generate, when we talk about stormwater, when we talk about sewage, energy supply, road improvements, etc., those are all things that happen at a pace, but they have to happen according to a plan, and they get budgeted and funded if a good plan is in place in the first place. So what it all comes down to in the end is having a decent plan that we can all get behind, and then start to push to make sure we get the implementation funds to execute, that we get the tax dollars that our community has been sending to the county and the state for many years, reinvested back in this community. I had all kinds of clever other things I wanted to say. I can't remember them now. Maybe better if anyone has questions. I can attempt to answer those. If I can't, I'll say so, and I'll come back with an answer.
Can you highlight the infrastructure? So you said stormwater, sewage, road improvements, and what else?
Sorry, weak hearing over background noise. So, I think we're talking about stormwater. Of course, internet connectivity has long been a topic where we've had limited success at some points. But still working with the county and the PUT to make those happen. We should focus on that also. It's an economic constrictor, if you will.
And there's a man here who can talk about internet activity. Bob, are you here tonight?
No, I don't see it.
Bob's not here.
Oh,
No.
he's not here. Said he would come. Okay,
That's
yeah.
not an area where I have expertise, so
Okay.
I can,
Sewer, water, internet, yes, sewer, and road improvements, was that it?
yeah, as, zoning and land use, as our chamber president was talking about a few moments ago. Business development, and I think very much service to this marketplace. It is really tough for contractors to get in here. It's tough for them to get their materials, their tools, and their workforce in here. We have talented tradesmen just across the border in Canada. They're unable to come here now. I'd like that to get with that a little bit also. Of course, without over-competing with local businesses. And then, of course, workforce development, housing, all those things work together to create a vibrant economic scene. Without actually reading you the list of items in the report, that's a highlight.
That's good.
Can I just add a comment here? Tonight I'm representing the golf course, and I'd like to put this out to the whole group here that we have a tournament once the golf course gets reopened, just to bring the membership together, and we can have an event there at the golf course, probably sometime in May, if that works for everybody. Linda, we'll stay in touch, okay?
I like it.
Okay, there you go.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking to you also.
Absolutely. It's
Sorry,
fun.
I didn't have a face with the business. Anyone else? The cameraman back there?
Yeah, I have two questions. One, the company that was hired for doing this study, they're primarily an engineering company, and I was wondering, I've noticed in their proposal that they're going to be hiring outside consultants for that. Are they going to be hiring like an economist or urban planners? And that's going to drive, if they have to do that, which is what they really need for this study, that's going to drive the cost of it way, way up. The second thing I want to ask about is, there's a point where they said they're going to interview up to 12 people by phone for half an hour for people who are concerned in the community. To me, interviewing people for half an hour by phone is very disingenuous to the community. That company needs to come up here and actually talk to the people.
That company will
I know, but doing it on the phone for half an hour doesn't cut it.
No, they'll be coming here.
But as to my first question, are they going to be hiring economists and urban planners to actually do the study? Because most of the people in the company are engineers.
They do have an economic development division. The project is fixed cost. They can't just go out and spend more money on it.
That's not the way it was written in there.
That's the way it's contracted, and I have the contract with me if you'd like to have a look.
Okay, I'm looking at what was online.
Yeah. So the plan about how to do the interviews in the community, that actually changed a little bit from when we first envisioned putting this strategy together. So at that point, Gina Stark was going to do a lot of the on-the-ground part, and she'd have people from the consultant come up with her. Since Gina has now left the board, we've changed the scope of work a little bit so that they actually come here to do their interviews in the community, to get to know the community a little bit. We can take them around and literally show them what we're talking about.
So what is online no longer applies to?
So the telephone or Zoom type meetings are now replaced with operating here face to face.
That's much better.
Sorry that didn't make it in the.
You understand the concern with that, because
Absolutely,
I mean, a half hour on the phone doesn't cut it. It really doesn't cut it.
Concerns. I don't have too much more to add to that. I do have the ranking document, the contract. and the 3 proposals here with me. I can also share them electronically with the chamber, and maybe they can get posted or something. But those are public documents. We're a public agency, so everything that we do and decide is open for public scrutiny. I know we're not shy about that here, so we had eyes open while we were doing this.
Elliot, can you tell us how to find the public documents? How do we find the 3 proposals on the public documents?
You can email me and I'll send them to you. I will also share them with the chamber. We want this to be quite transparent, because if it doesn't include everybody, we'll have a real issue.
When's the last time the marina has been approached, either by the Port of Bellingham or what time frame?
I don't see Jim here this evening, but I go and visit him pretty much once a month. How you doing? When are the owners coming? Anything I can help you with? So we continue to maintain contact with them. We have, speaking on behalf of the port at this point, we've offered to share the staff training we have for our marina staff and maintenance staff with them. They haven't come over to do that so far, but we're happy to share information. Maybe we'll share some contracting help, etc. But thus far, they like to be independent. So,
Sorry, but is there any way we can get the marina to bring the piers up to code? Because they haven't been maintained. They're dangerous. The fire department will not go down there if there's an emergency. I know it's private property, but is there any way we can address that issue? Because if they had to pay to bring it up to code, they might consider selling.
yeah. Thank you.
Fire marshal.
Yeah, the infrastructure at the marina, I think the marina staff and management knows needs development. When the port studied possibly making an offer to acquire that as a public asset, and it would be a lovely public asset. We did look into what it would cost to bring that marina up to spec again. It was well designed, it was well built. It's still functioning fairly well because it was so well designed and built. But yeah, many of the infrastructure items there need a lot of investment. Depending upon how you executed it, that could be in the $15 to $20 million range, just to redo that infrastructure. So I don't know if anybody is here from the marina tonight. I don't want to speak on behalf of their independent business, but that was our assessment from the port. I do have some hope now that the marina appears to be quite full, that they start to channel some revenue into improving that infrastructure. It is hard. I do this on behalf of the port in Blaine and in Bellingham and in Fairhaven, and it is very expensive. It's hard to get your money back out of it. And it's infrastructure that's meant to last 40, 50 years. So I have some sympathy for them trying to achieve the excellence there.
I understand that the port, the county, and community meet regularly. For an individual homeowner, if we were in violation of a code, you'd come after us. This is a private property. Don't those same rules apply to the marina?
Good question. I do not know the answer, but I know that is out of the jurisdiction of the Port of Bellingham. We only can operate where we own property.
But it's in the jurisdiction of Whatcom County, and you meet with them monthly along with Public Works. Can you bring that to their attention? Because me as a homeowner, if I was doing something that wasn't up to code, Whatcom County would be on me like that. And it's taken me 3 years to get approval to do a business that I'm doing. So they were after me, I had to meet all the regulations, and it costs a lot of dollars. Why can't they do that for the marina?
I will carry that forward. I don't meet with the county myself regularly. They are quite interested in the marina, I can tell you, and the Parks Department as well.
And I, for one, would love the port to manage the marina or even own it. So I think I speak for many people, so please, follow through on that.
And later you can tell me how you got approval in only 3 years.
Sure.
One comment about the marina being full right now is they did close one of the marinas in Ladner, so boats also down here, a lot of Canadians.
Mosquito Creek, I believe is the name.
There's also one in Ladner. Yeah.
Okay, different one.
Yeah, so that might be 2 different marinas that they're working on.
Maybe two.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever floated the idea of
Sorry, Marlene, what did you say?
Boatways.
No,
homes?
Oh.
Like buy one.
houseboat.
Houseboat.
Yes,
Like
yes.
Ladner has.
Yeah.
Ladner has a houseboat village.
Yeah.
You know?
As a, yeah. Let me just say that that's something that could be covered under the infrastructural part of this. You're not going to be able to do that without a sewage system that operates at least for a core of businesses. So right now, there is a septic type system for the marina. It functions, but it has no more capacity.
They couldn't even keep the existing building, the barn here, because of the jurisdiction. So it's very, very complicated because Coast Guard comes into play. Like there's so many different things that come into play for permitting. Logistically, it's not.
Wasn't the Navy somewhat involved with it as well?
It was a lot
The
of
water jurisdiction.
the water jurisdiction makes it really complicated.
All right, well, thank you very much. I look forward to the elections. Happy to be able to help in a small way. I really hope this economic development strategy is something we can all get behind as a community, not just a single organization, and start to methodically work through it without ruining the character of who we are. And we do have character.
No shit, Sherlock.
Who's next? Anybody?
And I have one more comment about the golf course. We are bringing in some log cabin for housing for employees as a way to entice employees from the mainland and other states to move to Point Roberts and offer benefits, 401k, and housing. So it took a lot of push to get to that point with the owners, but they realized that we don't have enough of a local labor pool that is talented or can work here, so we have to go way outside the box.
Are you putting those on the lots that are already
Yeah,
cleared up
on
there?
the fully serviced lots,
Perfect.
we've already got PSC to put
Yep.
temporary power up there, and, with the use also of Gary Moore, he helped. And all we have to do now is drop in the septic and put the water up. And we're ordering these log cabins from Idaho. We've researched around different areas where we can get them, and they're gonna come as a quote kit. We're gonna use local contractors to build them out, and we're excited to get this moving, but it's probably 3-4 months down the road before they get here, but.
So you're going to be interested in this. I just have an update for everybody. I've been involved with Whatcom County for stakeholder because Whatcom County PDS is doing some changes to Title 22. Important for everyone to know is everything other than septic and water, which we got removed from the requirement, is going to require a car, which is a critical areas report, prior to applying for any permit. So before you can apply for any building permit, go to a pre-meeting, you are going to have to go to Whatcom County PDS, and you are going to have to request and pay for a car. which is a critical areas report. When you file for the critical areas report, there's a fee to that, and then you're gonna have a choice. You can either pay PDS a site visit fee for them to come and inspect your property looking for critical areas, or you can pay someone to come and do the critical areas report for you, which if anyone has ever had one done, they are thousands of dollars. So that is supposed to be going into effect January 1st. It had gone to county council at the last county council meeting. A bunch of people from the septic industry, as well as other industries, such as the refineries and things like that, came and spoke. It did get tabled. We had a Zoom meeting. Councilmember Galloway worked with us. And then there was another meeting this last Tuesday. And it is again going to county council for approval at the next county council meeting. So if it's something that you are concerned about, especially somebody who's in real estate or anybody who's development, this is something that is important for you to know. Another thing, change in Title 22, is they are changing the language for notifications for conditional use or anything like that, zoning variance. Currently, we are considered in the rural, because there's only 2 designations, either you're in the urban growth area or you're rural. Urban growth area is 300 feet notification from every corner of a property. Rural is 1,000 feet. They want to adjust the language so that it will now say UGA or landmarks. Point Roberts is one of about 20 landmarks in Whatcom County, like Glacier, Sun Valley. So the notification areas for anything will now go from 1,000 feet to 300 feet from every corner of a property. Not that anybody, I don't think here, does a lot of major development, but if you were to be applying for a shoreline substantial development permit, along with a conditional use permit, any double large permit, currently under the code, you get a 25% fee reduction because it's, 2 permits being basically reviewed at the same time, so they give you a bit of a reduction. That reduction, again, is going. That has been crossed out as a line item. The other thing I found out by sitting with county council is the county budget. They're having issues with it. So I think it's at the next county council meeting where they are going to authorize or at least introduce taking their 3% bank capacity.
Their 3% base what?
Bank capacity. So every year, everybody can take their 1%, right? You cannot take a 1% over any year and put it into what's called bank capacity and then take it whenever you deem necessary. So Whatcom County on our property taxes does have the 3% bank capacity because there was 3 years they didn't take it. This is going to go in front of county council for 2025, that they would be taking their 3% bank capacity. So again, if that's something that you're interested in, because of course it's going to affect your property taxes, I would suggest going to county council, or at least reading the agendas for county council, and writing your county council members, or showing up in person. I will be there next Tuesday because I have to be. But like I said, we did work really hard, and we did get, because it was supposed to be that even septics and water availabilities were going to require a car. We worked really hard and got that part removed, but it will still apply to everything else.
I don't know if this is for you or whether, but is this going to be considered in the economic?
Louder, please, Neil.
Is this going to be considered in the economic study? Yeah, development study. If this passes, like this does shift how Point Roberts would develop.
Be affected, yeah. What a concept.
I would think the question to ask is, that's up to the county council to vote on. What's the impact for an individual house or business? So 3% of your assessed value, 3% of what?
It's 3% of your assessed value.
Yeah. So anybody can look at their tax bill and figure out what that impact would be for the.
Yeah, because it would only be on the county portion, so you'd actually have to open up your tax statement, look at what your county portion is and figure out and do the math, as far as that goes. But as far as building permits, anybody who's ever filed for a building permit, you are looking at this adding not only yet another $500, but also another 45 days at the beginning. Because you have to go in, you have to apply, they have to do their in-house, and then they have to also do the site visit, which means coming to Point Roberts, and they're already behind, and they're short on staff, and they said they're looking at 45 days. So you're now adding another 45 days to the beginning of your permit process, whether you have critical areas or not.
So will this requirement be retroactive or will?
No, it'll be for any permit applied for after January 1st, because the code will be effective January 1st, 2020.
Still, it might be really good to let people know that that's
Well,
January
because
1.
so Tracy was talking about wanting to do cabins. If you didn't apply for the permit for those cabins, you would have to have a critical areas prior to applying for those. It doesn't matter if you already have critical areas.
Yeah, no, before I even spoke to the company that were looking at purchasing these cabin kits, I went to the county first and said, are we eligible in Point Roberts to have these cabins?
Yeah, you're still gonna have to. So that's what it's explained to me, is it doesn't matter if you've gone in, it doesn't matter anything, it's from the day. So if you're gonna apply after January 1st, you're gonna have those critical areas done by the county first.
It makes sense.
And then, right,
well, we figured it's a subdivision that's already been approved, 33 lots, fully serviced.
yeah.
You know,
But it's just something to be aware of, and especially when you're already looking at a timeline of this is what it should be, knowing that this could add to your timeline.
that's good to know, but it's really good to know.
Because a month and a half,
Yeah.
when we're talking about Point Roberts and we're talking about what time of year you need to have that ready and done for, and how long the other processes take.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's just good, valuable information for anybody to have, or if you're selling it from.
Well, the four of us here that are in real estate, including Wayne, we go through this with, your feasibility studies, your home inspections, try to get somebody to come to Point Roberts in your time frame, let alone, are they available?
Yep.
Just
Just adding another layer,
it's just another layer.
just another layer to be aware of. Yeah. So, that was it. Oh, and if anybody's interested, the PRCAC meeting, we are having, the PUD is giving us an update on their broadband project. If you go to the PUD website, you can look, they've got a tracker. Right now, they're just working on getting finalized pole permits from PSE to be able to have their infrastructure on the PSE poles in those areas. They've already got a couple of the permits done. They just refiled for some more, so hopefully the PUD will have an update on that. Yes.
Can you let everybody know about the Department of Ecology?
Oh, yes, so we have the Department of Ecology coming to the next PRCAC meeting for wells. So anybody who has a well is important to come to that meeting so that you can get the answers from Department of Ecology.
Okay, this is a good one.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry, the last thing I'll say tonight. There is a well up at the golf course. We put a permit, we put an application forward to Department of Ecology to get use of the well for ourselves at the golf course to use for irrigation. And they said it's on Sac, Indian tribal.
We're part of the Nooksack watershed.
Yeah, they said not part of their land. And I'm like, we're not attached to the mainland. We're taking native water. That's just rainwater that's going into the soil. It has nothing to do with the mainland.
So come to the meeting because there will also be from the PUD at Wall. I'm gonna butcher his last name. Joshwani.
Okay.
And he has information, because there are some areas that aren't part of the Nooksack watershed, really, that are trying to get out of this delineation because they're not really in the Nooksack watershed, they've just been lumped in because they're part of
It's
Whatcom
just
County.
a geographical map.
Well, they just kind of said, you're in Whatcom County, you're part of this delineation. So he will be there as well.
Now we need some of that.
I will send you that information, so it's important to go because anybody who has a well, wants to use a well, there is this delineation process to go there.
Just to make sure, from what I understand, you have to be part of the lawsuit before you can actually ask to be withdrawn. So-
It's a big, that's why I'm like, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty details. That's what Maul and the Department of Ecology can explain for those people who, want to be part of that and how this delineation all works, because I'm going to be honest, it goes right over my head.
Yeah.
I get most of it, but not all of it, so I'm not going to talk specifically.
And the last thing, at the beginning of the meeting, they talked about the dilapidated Delta Eastlink cables. Just so that everybody knows, Public Works wrote to Eastlink, they sent a certified letter, they followed through 3 times, they got no response, so now they are suing them. So just so you know, the county is onto it, and in time, as the wheels turn, hopefully the cables will be removed. So now they are suing Eastlink.
Yeah, Whatcom County, so the new head of Public Works, she is absolutely amazing. She came up, she's been coming up to meetings and stuff. She followed through with the community's concern about the dilapidated cable falling down on like Marine Drive. She wrote the letter she needed to write. She sent it to the executive's office, and it went to the prosecuting attorney. All of the letters have been sent in the order they need to be sent, and now Whatcom County will be filing suit against them to recoup, either have them remove it, or hope so Whatcom County will do it and we'll be able to do it for having done it. So there are people in Whatcom County that actually do listen to us, and they are working with us, and that's why I say talk to your county council members. If it wasn't for John Scanlon, Councilmember John Scanlon, he was working with Gina and Tyler Schroeder. That's how we got this environmental development strategy, the funding and everything done. The county council members listened to us, and like I said, I was just with a council member who's not even that large and not even our district, and worked with us, and so they do listen. Public Works, she's amazing. I cannot say I love Elizabeth Rosa enough. But yeah, reach out to the county. It's not like it used to be. I will 100% say that. They're great. They're great. But that was my update.
Thank you.
I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, everybody can eat.
We're
Just if we could just come enjoy some more refreshments, and we can mingle some more, and you can ask some one-on-one questions of your board members, and let's just enjoy some time together. Thank you all for coming.